if you have aptitude, then you stand a better chance of becoming a performer, let's say. So even if you have not learned, for example, we've had greats like Manade Saab, Kishore Kumar Saab, who have not formally trained.
Sure.
And they were, I mean, hello, we all know they were brilliant musicians.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So clearly it was a thing of aptitude, it was a thing of talent. They
Sure.
had a flair for it, let's say.
For sure.
But if you have a bit of both, then it's really, the best of both worlds, if one can say.
And then, of course, there was a lot of learning that was involved as well, because you...
So, I often say it's like Riyaz and Talim. These are these are essentially two cornerstones of any musician's life.
For sure.
Talim is, who you're learning from, the rigor that you go through in the process of learning. And Riyaz is how you sort of deal with what you learn.
For sure.
And there's a lot of drudgery, there's a lot of hard work. And it's also a mysterious world in many ways,
Sure.
Because your guru will arrive on time. I had a teacher who was very, very meticulous. He would arrive at 5 p.m, and every Thursday I would get up in the morning and start praying, I hope he gets fever and he doesn't arrive today, And of course my prayers were not heard by anyone. And he would arrive, and it was really like, it was like a Prem Chopra moment for me, the villain has arrived. But yes, you go through that rigor, you go through the drudgery, and then there is the moment of transition when you start enjoying it. So,
sure.
Yeah.
There's also, of course, now with we live in the age of instant fame, and the seduction of glamour has sort of, glossed over the grime that goes behind the education. And education is, of course, a very, very important part of any art form, so to speak. And there's always been that debate about natural talent versus hours and hours of riyaz. Where do you stand on that debate?
I'd like to believe I have a bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel that some element of aptitude is essential. Some element of aptitude which could then become talent, and which could then become potential that needs to be harnessed, and so on and so forth.
Sure.
But if you have aptitude, then you stand a better chance of becoming a performer, let's say. So even if you have not learned, for example, we've had greats like Manade Saab, Kishore Kumar Saab, who have not formally trained.
Sure.
And they were, I mean, hello, we all know they were brilliant musicians.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So clearly it was a thing of aptitude, it was a thing of talent. They
Sure.
had a flair for it, let's say.
For sure.
But if you have a bit of both, then it's really, the best of both worlds, if one can say. So yes, I think I do have it in my blood.
Sure.
And my father, who never trained, was an exceptional singer. So I guess somewhere, the genes did their work.
They do.
And then, of course, like I said, I had my...
Now, of course, increasingly technology also seems to be doing that work as well.
Yeah.
I would like to assume that you come from an analog age where where the power of the vocal cords was higher than the power of a tweak on a software. So a lot of people are using technology to make music as well, which is not to diss it in any way or whatsoever. But the raw power of music to me would always be watching a performer in front with nothing but the power of that talent between us, separating us. Technology seems to have taken that away from us a little. Would you agree?
Well, technology is like a double-edged thing,
Sure.
I mean, yes, it has made the production of music. It has given it different forms and possibilities,
Sure.
And we may agree with some of those possibilities and disagree with others.
Sure.
So I don't think we can write it off in one way or the other.
Right.
But the flip side of technology is that it has allowed for, say, someone like me. I come from a tradition which is very, very which believes in grammar, which is very structured. But suddenly, because I have exposure to so much music because of that technology, so I can bring other influences into my singing, which may not not, I mean, it was much more dogmatic earlier when you didn't have technology in the picture. So I think there is both good and bad to technology. But the bad, definitely, yes, it takes away from, like what you pointed out. There is a certain rawness about the fact that you can manage analog as well as you can manage a microphone. I think that's the thing, that's the difference that I feel with or without technology does.
If you've enjoyed this podcast, subscribe to our channel now. We have a new episode out every Friday.